I've been thinking about the backlash to Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, and the more I sit with it, the more conflicted I become. Because on one hand, I completely get it. If someone told me that they were making the Ramayana or the Mahabharata, I'd probably hope they'll cast people who understand the culture. Not because actors from somewhere else couldn't do a great job, but because these stories aren't just entertainment. They're a part of people's identity. They carry a lot of history, memory, and meaning behind them. So when some Greeks say that they wish the Odyssey had more Greek actors, I genuinely understand where they're coming from. But then I cannot help asking myself, where was this same energy before? Where was it when Hollywood spent decades deciding what India looked like? For millions of people, India became Slumdog Millionaire. For others, it was Raj Kotrapali from The Big Bang Theory, the awkward Indian with a funny accent, the curry jokes, and the cultural punchlines. Those portrayals may not have been created with bad intentions per se, but they still shaped how people saw us. And somehow, we were expected to laugh along because it was just entertainment. That's why this conversation feels so complicated and so artificial to me. Because if authenticity really matters, and I think it does, then it has to matter consistently. It cannot become a principle only when the casting choices feel unfamiliar. And here's the irony: the Odyssey isn't history. It's mythology, a story that has survived for almost 3000 years because every generation has found a new way to tell it. You might love it, you might hate it, but both are completely fair. Somewhere along the way, I realized this debate stopped being about Christopher Nolan and the Odyssey. It became more about something much bigger. I caught myself thinking, I can watch a British actor play a Greek hero, and I could barely notice. But if that same flexibility is applied in reverse, something in me hesitates. You know why? Where did that instinct come from? Was it always mine, or was it shaped by the stories I've spent my whole life watching? Because our opinions don't appear out of nowhere. They're built over years by the films we love, by the heroes we admire, the cultures we have been taught to see as familiar, and the ones we have taught to see as different. So maybe the Odyssey did not expose a problem with the casting. Maybe it exposed something about all of us. Not necessarily a prejudice, but perhaps the way we are conditioned. And maybe those aren't always the same thing. Because the question I'm left with isn't whether Christopher Nolan got the casting right. It's this: if I had grown up watching a completely different version of the world, would I still be so certain that my opinion was entirely my own? And honestly, I have no idea. But I do think that's a question worth sitting with.